Welcome to the series of lecture on finite element analysis. In this part, we are going to see how to determine the natural frequency of different types of beam. So we are going to consider only simple and standard beams like cantilever beam, simply supported beam and fixed beam. In earlier part, we have discussed about what is vibration and how to make a mathematical model of vibration and how to derive the element characteristic equation for the vibration problem. Everything we discussed. In simple terms, we can say vibration is a oscillation. So for describing or defining vibration, we are using the characteristics like frequency and amplitude, mode shapes. How to determine the natural frequency of free vibrations? So already we discussed how to determine the natural frequency of longitudinal vibration for a bar problem. So now we are going to take up the beam problems because beams are subjected to transverse load, so they are able to vibrate in transverse direction. So we will see how to determine the natural frequency of transverse vibration of beams. This is the mathematical model for a transverse vibration of beam. We derived earlier part. In this part, we have seen that the governing differential equation is of the order of 4 and we are using the frequency domain. Based on this governing differential equation, we derived the element characteristic equation using Galerkin approach. This is the element characteristic equation for a beam problem which is subjected to transverse vibration. So if you see the general format of the element characteristic equation of a vibration problem, it will be like this: K stiffness matrix minus omega square multiplied with mass matrix. Then we will have a displacement matrix U. Right hand side we have 0 because we are dealing with the free vibration. K is stiffness matrix, so which is the 4 by 4 matrix for the beam problem because total degree of freedom is 4. So that is why we are getting the 4 by 4 matrix. Degree of freedom at each node we are assuming 2 degree of freedom W and theta. So K is a square and symmetrical 4 by 4 matrix. Similarly, M is the mass matrix. So this is also 4 by 4 matrix, square and symmetrical. By knowing this element characteristic equation, now we will discuss some simple and standard beam problems, how to derive the natural frequencies for cantilever, simply supported and fixed beam. These are the standard beam problems. So we will see how to use this element characteristic equation to derive the natural frequency of these beams. First let us take the cantilever beam. For the cantilever beam shown in figure, determine the first two natural frequencies. This is a general question. We are not going to use any numerical values. We are going to find the natural frequencies in terms of the parameters. What are the parameters we have to use? We will see. So this is a cantilever beam fixed at one end, other end is free. So it is a free vibration. We are not assuming any external force. Now to make a finite element model of the cantilever beam, we are making the model like this. One end is fixed, other end is free. This is the given cantilever beam. Here we are going to use the parameters, material parameter Young's modulus and mass density rho. Then geometrical parameter, area of cross section and area moment of inertia I. These are the parameters. Then we are assuming the length of the beam is L. Now to solve this cantilever beam problem, we have to make a finite element model. This is the finite element model. So how many elements we are going to use? As per the thumb rule, we have to use only one element for solving this full cantilever beam problem, because throughout the length there is no change in geometry, change in material property. So we are assuming nodes only at the boundaries. So fixed end one node, node 1, and free end we are assuming another node, node 2. So we can solve this problem using only one element. Let us see whether we are able to get the two frequencies or not. In this finite element model, at node 1 we have 2 degrees of freedom, displacement W and slope theta. So W1 theta 1. Similarly node 2 we have W2 theta 2. Now What are the boundary condition for the cantilever beam? Node 1 is a fixed end, so W1 going to be 0 and the slope theta is also 0. So two nodal parameter W1 theta 1 are 0, and coming to the free end, we have both W2 as well as theta 2 in the free end. Since there are 2 degrees of freedom present in this problem, we are able to achieve 2 natural frequencies. If there is only 1 degree of freedom present in the finite element model, then we have to get only one natural frequency. That also we will discuss later part. What we can decide now is there are 2 degrees of freedom in the finite element model. So we are able to derive 2 natural frequencies for this cantilever beam. So let us proceed the finite element method. After making the finite element model, we have to derive the element characteristic equation. For vibration problem, this is the standard format: stiffness matrix minus omega square mass matrix. Then you have to write the nodal displacement, right hand side 0 matrix. So this is the stiffness matrix 4 by 4 matrix. You have to remember to solve any beam problem. And this is the mass matrix 4 by 4 square matrix. You have to remember. And these are the degrees of freedom: W1 theta 1, W2 theta 2. Right hand side you have null matrix. To solve any beam problem, we have to remember these matrices: mass matrix and stiffness matrix. Then only we are able to solve it. This is one element model. Directly we can apply the boundary condition to this element characteristic equation, because we need not to go for global characteristic equation because only one element is involved. So in the next step, we are going to apply the boundary condition. Since node 1 is fixed node, we have W1 0, theta 1 0. So what are the rows and column related to the degree of freedom W1? This is row 1 and column 1. So row 1 and column 1 are the related column and row for the degree of freedom W1. What are the rows and columns for theta 1? Theta 1, you have to consider the second row and second column for this theta degree of freedom. By neglecting this row 1 column 1, row 2 column 2, the remaining we have only 2 by 2 matrix, stiffness matrix as well as the mass matrix. Solving this 2 by 2 matrix give us the 2 natural frequencies. Let us see. So after eliminating these 2 rows 2 columns, remaining we will get only 2 by 2 matrix like this. So in the solution stage we will see this is the 2 by 2 matrix of stiffness matrix, this is 2 by 2 matrix of the mass matrix. Since no numerical values are involved, this is just like a derivation. So EI by L cube 12 minus 6L 4L square, you are getting minus omega square rho AL 420 156 minus 22L minus 22L 4L square, here W2 theta 2 0 matrix. Now to solve any vibration problem, we have to use this eigen equation format. Since this beam is having vibration, so W2 and theta 2 cannot be 0, because during vibration we have some amplitude and slope, so this cannot be 0. So how to satisfy this equation? Only possibility is these matrices should be equal to 0. So how to find this is equal to 0 or not? We have to find the determinant of these two matrices. So determinant of this matrix is equal to 0, then we can say this condition or this equation is satisfied. Now this is determinant of this one. Now we are going to take this EI by L cube. We divide this whole equation by EI by L cube. So you will get this EI by L cube here in the denominator. Then we are going to assume the total term as a lambda. Then only we are able to solve this equation. So let us see. Taking lambda is equal to this one, rho AL power 4 420 EI omega square. This is taken as the lambda. So when you take this as lambda, we can easily add these two matrices: 12 minus 156 lambda minus 6L minus 22L lambda. Like that we can add these two matrices after assuming this lambda, because this is for easy processing. We are using this notation lambda here. Then this is a 2 by 2 matrix, determinant of 2 by 2 matrix. So you have to multiply this major diagonal, then you have to subtract this minor diagonal. So this is the process. After simplifying this equation, finally we will end up with a quadratic equation in terms of lambda. 138 lambda square minus 508 lambda plus 8 equal to 0, like this. If you expand this and rearrange all the terms, you will get this quadratic equation. When you solve this quadratic equation using calculator, we are able to get a two solution for this. We have to take the smaller value as lambda 1, larger value as the lambda 2. This is the usual practice. So lambda 1 we are getting 0.0158, lambda 2 is 3.665, like this. Now for this lambda 1 and lambda 2, we can find omega 1 and omega 2 using this relationship. So how to find that, we will see. From this lambda value, we are going to evaluate the natural frequency. Lambda 1 is 0.0158. So your lambda value is this one. Substitute 0.018 in this lambda. We are able to find this omega value. So what is omega square? Omega square is equal to this lambda multiplied by 420 EI divided by rho A L power 4. We have to take the square root of this to find this omega 1. This is the omega 1 value. Omega 1 is equal to 2.576 divided by L square root of EI by rho A. I am taking EI by rho A inside the radical, that is inside the root. And what is the relationship between angular frequency and natural frequency? This is Fn is equal to omega by 2 pi. So dividing this omega 1 by 2 pi will give you this Fn value, right? So Fn is equal to 0.41 divided by L square root of EI by rho A, like that we are getting. Similarly, we can use this lambda 2 value to find this Fn2. Let us see. Lambda 2 is 3.665. Substitute this lambda value here. We are getting omega 2 square is equal to this much. Taking the square root of this omega 2, we are getting the 39.234 divided by L square root of EI by rho A. And divide by 2 pi, we are getting Fn2 natural frequency, second natural frequency 6.244 divided by L square multiplied with the radical term EI by rho A. These are the two natural frequency we are getting, Fn1 and Fn2 for this given cantilever beam. Now we have not used any numerical values for this parameter. Suppose if the numerical values are given, the problem will be more simple for us. We can easily substitute all the values starting from the element characteristic equation. Then we will end up with some numerical values for the omega and Fn. These are the two natural frequency we derived for cantilever beam by assuming only one finite element model. That is, we used only one beam element to solve this problem. We will discuss some important points regarding this natural frequency. Now let us see the arrangement of this equation. Fn is equal to 6.244 some constant divided by L square, and inside the root we have EI, product of EI, and here product of rho A. The product of EI actually called as fluctual modulus of a beam. Product of Young's modulus and moment of inertia, area moment of inertia, is called fluctual modulus, which is in the numerator of this root. Suppose if you want to control the frequency of beam, how to control it? We have to control this fluctual modulus EI. E is the material property, I is the geometrical property. If you increase this EI value, that is fluctual modulus, the frequency value will get increased. So because it is the numerator, it is directly proportional. Now coming to this rho, A is the area of cross section. Rho, what is rho? Rho is again a material property, mass density. Mass of the beam is very high, then the natural frequency value will be decreased because it is inversely proportional, because it is in the denominator. And one more thing, you take this L. So what is L? Length of the beam. Length of the beam is also in the denominator. So it is also inversely proportional. When you increase the length of the beam, natural frequency value will decrease. Based on this, we can easily control the natural frequency value of any beam. If you increase EI value, structural modulus value, the natural frequency value will get increased. If you increase the mass, length, all this value, then natural frequency value will decrease. Through this example, what we have discussed is how to determine the natural frequency of a cantilever beam using the one finite element, that is a beam element. Using this one finite element model, we are able to achieve two natural frequencies. We have discussed how to control the natural frequency also. In the next part, we will discuss how to determine the natural frequency of simply supported beam and fixed beam. Thank you. Thank you for your passion listening.